quên rồi không đó. The call of the Aegis will not be ignored. It is a tradition that defines the decade. The heartbeat of a community that rumbles worldwide. It is their fire that fuels this contest. A global passion with a hunger for Dota at its core. Now, Bucharest will be the battleground, where 16 teams stand at immortality's door. Battles ahead offer no easy answers. Will the defending champions reign supreme? Or can one of the many challengers find the perfect time to soar? Veterans and newcomers alike have earned the right to be here. They fight to claim undisputed glory.
We wouldn't be here without you.
This is all thanks to you.
Gracias.
谢谢.
Thank you.
现在终于回来了。Мы вернулись. Guess who's back? Let's play some Dota.
For the opportunity of a lifetime. They'll make every sacrifice and more. Battle for ultimate glory. Who will emerge victorious? The battle begins. Introducing the finest Dota teams in the world.
welcome to the International. It's been a long time since we've been able to hold this event, and I'm super excited to see the best teams in the world come together to compete on this stage. On behalf of everyone at Valve and the Dota community, I want to thank the people of Romania for making this possible. Let's watch some Dota.
International 10. We are ready and waiting to see 16 of the world's best teams in Dota 2 take to the stage to compete for that Aegis, and I couldn't be more excited. And I think I'm speaking for pretty much everyone in the building right now, and probably for all of you guys watching at home. My name is Frankie Ward. I am joined by Trent, Gods, and Purge. And before we get started, yes, Purge will be judging me on how long my questions are, and if I take longer than 8 seconds, he will be reprimanding me. Welcome to the panel, boys. Purge, are you excited after seeing that opening ceremony?
Yeah, it's hard to come to TI and not get excited, especially when they show so many clips from back in the day. You get all this nostalgia, and then just the hype builds, and there's always new cool stuff. The ages passing, and getting to see all those players. Oh, it's so good. I'm so happy.
Well, did you have a favorite moment from that opening ceremony, Trent? Any memories?
I mean, just watching not only the players, obviously at the end, like we're distilling a decade of competition, and the best Dota that's ever been played into that pass-off is pretty incredible to see. But also just reliving all those moments through those highlights and like through those clips. Like you see like 3 heroes, and you go, "Oh, I remember that. Like I know who did that move at what time, and like how impactful it was." And it's insane that we've just all been through this together for so long, and just really needed it back after 2 years.
You've been to a few of these TIs now.
Yeah, and it's so great to relive those memories. TI is always this giant celebration of Dota. Obviously, this one I think is extra special in some ways because it's been that extra long that we've had to wait for it. And these teams, talent, viewers, fans, everybody is just so hungry to watch TI again.
Now, there are some people out there whispering they've never seen a TI before. They've tuned in to find out what it's all about. And I have to say, this is my first one as well. So what is the most special thing about TI for you personally, Purge?
Best thing about TI, it's watching the game advance basically from the start of the tournament to the end. You never really know what the meta is going to be like, so seeing what the teams figure out and watching that refine towards the end of the tournament is probably my favorite thing. But prize ceremonies, there's so many things. It's hard to name just one.
I'm going to have to stop you there. That was the wrong answer. It's actually Crimson Witness, and if you bought a ticket to TI10, you're probably wondering, how am I going to get my drops? Well, my friends, what you need to do is go to dota2.com/Crimson Witness, register there, and every time there is one of those joyful first bloods, there will be exclusive drops available. Good luck, my friends.
Hurry up.
We're all waiting. Yeah, exactly. You need to do that as a priority. Open a new tab. Don't leave us, because I'll be very, very upset. But you know what? You definitely don't want to leave us right now, because we're going to be remotely joined by someone very special. Sound guys, turn your microphones down. He's called Sir Action Slacks.
Thank you so much, everybody. It is I, Sir Action Slacks, here at the International 10. I might be alone this year. Oh, my beloved co-host, my friend Casey, could not make it, but that is okay, because I am still going to bring you guys all of the interviews, all of the everything. What the hell is this? Hello? Ow! Hey, what are you? Stop it! No. Oh, no.
Hello.
No, please, God, no! Not, you weren't supposed to come! They said this was my chance to shine!
I found you. Myron, we get to work together again. I'm so excited.
Myron is mine, as I have told you this year. But no, it's so good to have you back, Casey. Great. I see you're here in your devilish evil robot. So good to have you. How are things at home?
Oh, they're fine, thanks. I see you're here and that you picked a shirt.
I did pick a shirt. Thank you, Casey. It is so great. But don't worry, everybody. We will both be here to give you all of the TI content that you crave live. You ready to have some fun, Casey?
High five, buddy. High five.
Yeah. How about we go? How about we go? Back to you guys.
Put me down. Can we get a visit from Casey, please?
She's gonna track dirt into here, I think.
Yeah.
Using those, she's got wheels.
I don't think she can handle the terrain of the mountainous region of which we're paneling from. So.
It's fine. Well, I'm going to do everything I can to get her onto this set at some point because I've never got to work with Casey before. It's my first opportunity and I definitely don't want to miss it. And you know what? You guys don't want to miss this. This is our bracket here at the International. So you can see, if you missed the group stage, who we've got in the upper, who we've got in the lower bracket. Now, to be honest, the upper bracket's kind of what we expected, Trent.
Yeah, for the most part. And of course, well, expected in some of the teams, but in terms of matchups, obviously I know there's one everyone's particularly looking forward to because it's never happened. And finally they'll have the chance for Secret versus OG at TI.
And that's coming up today. It's coming up after our opening series of the day, which is going to be Invictus versus Team Spirit. But the lower bracket, we have got to talk about this situation, gods. If you look right at the bottom of that bracket, Evil Geniuses. They are in the lower bracket. This is a best of one situation against Elephant that we're going to be seeing later today.
It's brutal. These are two teams a lot of people had kind of pegged for that upper bracket, and to see them in a best of one elimination, historic players who have played at so many TIs, played in TI finals, won TI, and someone's going home.
Pat, who's it going to be? I'm going to get you to answer me right now.
It's really hard to say. I mean, I had a lot of hopes for EG, as did everybody else coming into the tournament. They did so good in both DPC seasons. They got second place twice. They had the most points. But if you have to do that long road all the way to get to second, it's a long way to go. You got to win your best of ones. And you got to win best of threes against Elephant. I think EG could do it, but honestly, it's one game. Anybody would lose one.
It just seemed like watching them on the final there of the group stage, they got their mojo back. It was just not enough, unfortunately, to get them into that upper bracket. And part of the reason was that was Undying taking one of the games in that last series. Basically, North America grabbing each other in a big cuddle and taking themselves down to the lower bracket. They could have had a gentleman's conversation, but of course, they did not. And why would they? Because it is TI. But you know what? Speaking of gentlemen, we've got another one joining us. He is Tsunami, and he's going to be talking to us a bit more about the group stage and the heroes that we saw.
You're trying to butter me up right now, Frankie, and it's working. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm here to give you a little recap. I know some of you may just now be tuning in, and you're like, oh, okay, now the tournament's starting. No. We've already played 144 matches here at the International Group Stage, and I'm sure inquiring minds want to know, what heroes should I be looking out for? So let's get started. How about the most contested hero of the group stage? It's Monkey King. 110 bans, 31 picks. There is a 98% chance that you saw this dude's face on your screen at some point during the group stage. And I don't really know if you should be surprised by that. If you were paying attention to pubs before this whole thing started, you'd have known that it's usually the most flexible heroes that are first phase banned out in these tournaments. And this guy's, he's about as flexible as they get. But how about highest win rate hero? Well, there are a few heroes that had like 1 or 2 picks, 100% win rate, like Drow and Chen, but it's Winter Wyvern that interests me. 9 picks, 89% win rate. PSG LGD even first phased her twice and won. In fact, her only loss was when Quincy Crew picked her against Team Spirit. But I don't want to bore you with the details. I know. You want to know, who should you be spamming in pubs? Who should you be spamming before maybe a nerf, I don't know, 2 weeks or so. I don't know when the patch is, I promise, but look no further than this specimen right here, Elder Titan. Now I know this may be a little hard to believe, but he had 52 picks, 62% win rate throughout the group stage. And I might have a little theory on why that's the case. I've been talking to some of the big brains here over on the panel, and they say that there's this theory that they have. It doesn't matter how good you are at the game. Everybody's the same player when they're stunned or they're dead. And this guy, he helps with both those things. Echo Stomp for the stun, Astral Order for damage, and the cherry on top of his kit is his ultimate, Earth Splitter. You may be noticing there are a lot of high HP, tanky heroes that are popular right now, like Tidehunter, Tiny. Well, what better way to deal with them than the percentage-based damage that comes from Earth Splitter? Now, I don't know if he'll continue with that kind of popularity, because we know main event tends to bring its own couple of surprises, but we'll just have to start the playoffs before we can find that out. Back to you, Frankie.
Thank you very much, Inami. You know what? I was so excited to be part of TI10. They didn't tell me that actually you're going to be upstaged by a massive Elder Titan who's just going to be in your shot while you're trying to listen to the magic from here. I'm just like, I can't see him. I've literally got this lovely booty in my face. Anyway, probably didn't expect to hear me say that either this morning, but you know what? You probably did expect me to say that we had a fantastic group stage. Seriously, this must be the closest competition we've ever had at TI10, and so we've got to take a look back at some of the epic moments from the past week.
Caster has more of a timing here than EG.
He's jumped in. Whoa, Borax. He's headed in. He's in. Oh, it's a five-man ravage. Eyesight, that's what you want to see from the man. Gets in, separates the fight completely. As the punch goes down, RTC's able to make a beeline straight towards Monet with the leak building up. The gyro goes down. Lanham as well, he buys back.
Look at this. Fast Roshan spawn. They know. They need to go in. They know that there's no
Nightfall!
BKB.
Nightfall! Oh my god! That's an annihilation of 3 heroes! My god!
EG have just killed Tomato with the Weaver. Unreal. Unfreaking real. But the buybacks are there for Undying. Everybody else can come back. Bryle gets up 1 Doom, pops a refresher.
Back wall.
Yep, Shiva's again. Beautiful back wall. And they're all just stuck inside this wall completely. Arteezy's getting decimated. He has buyback. They're going to expand them knowing that Tomato does not have his.
They still get tied as well.
Triple kill for Saberlight, a god tier back wall.
And EG bought back all of their heroes to get this Roshan. They're in disbelief. Where are you?
seconds on Aegis. He's feeling confident.
It's a 3-1. Oh my goodness.
He just jumped in and got the 3.
Oh my god. They are all dead.
Oh, nobody was expecting that. That just happened. And now just down the mid.
90 seconds also. It was a Reaper.
Oh my goodness, Cuckoo.
So many brambles, now silence. Carl's in trouble. Sumail is here to finish him off. The Ravage comes just a bit too late. They might be able to finish off Seb. They will, but it's going to be costing them 2 at least. Now they get the duel off, but Sumail, he's just going to keep on swinging on these heroes. They are getting torn apart by 23 Savage and kited around a little bit. Sumail has nowhere to go, so he's just going to commit for the kill on a Cuckoo and continue challenging. 23 Savage up next. Now the Doom is faded away, so he can throw out the Avalanche. And Jesus, ultra kill. Rampage on the way for Sumail. The King is big and back in play here at TI. Rampage for Sumail. And T1 are not going to call it the squid. They're going to be able to double rampage for him. Give him the triple, perhaps. And that is it. Triple rampage. Sumail finally gets it.
Rush is dead. Goes down so quickly. Doom now with the
There's the jump from Schofield, the vacuum combo! Oh, it's glorious! Ice Blast
That's
on the
beautiful.
three of them too! Collapse is dead, another one drops as Miposhka's found. Yatoro on the run back away. Ice Blast ends on him, but the reality rift back in. As Schofield tosses this Weaver around, another avalanche and another death.
So there's a lot to be said about the talent choice of this Luna. The BKB on Tiny had faded that last year.
Oh,
what a big charge, Twin! What initiation of practical ravage that is followed up for the Wukongs, and that's just it. This may just be the game flat out.
Could be the stomp setup, but too far away for them to maybe try something. They are going to still go for it, but Control gets back over. In.
There it is.
The three-man slam right back behind the racks, and that could seal the deal here. Buybacks coming out from Leslau and LOA, and now they'll tap out. GG is called. Well and truly over this game one.
Raven does get revealed. Looking for the Chronosphere, manages to go and grab 2 of the cores, but there it is, there's the Windbreaker. Buys them just enough time. Chuen, though, not going to be quite as lucky. BKB coming out, they'll be able to go and use the Winter's Curse, holding this Luna in place. As over on the other side, it's not looking great for DJ, not looking great for Jabs. Cores, though, they need a bit of help. There's so much damage, the Fear, the Exorcism, they blow up Raven, and this is looking like a very dead death, too.
You'll set up in the pull, and they're going to bring down the puck with the help of the Global Silence. Snowball in, looking for more. They get the punch, they get the... Oh
my... I mean, we did say if there's a vacuum...
They were just about to get that last right click to kill him, and the vacuum interrupted it. Holy cow. If you're a secret, you're thinking, hell yeah, that went perfectly.
You probably noticed there we did say goodbye to Thunder Predator and SG Esports in the group stage. No one wants to go home early, but they did incredibly by getting to the group stage of TI. But right now we do need to talk about the main event. This is our schedule for day one. We're starting off with the upper bracket, so Team Spirit and Invictus Gaming will be taking their seats shortly on the stage here at the National Arena in Bucharest. And then we've got the heartbreak matches. We've got 4 best of ones. Can you call any of these? Can you predict any of them, Trent?
No, it's best of ones. Everyone's lost a game at TI so far, right? No one's undefeated. So
correct.
It's a best of one. That's... Sorry, what, you want some hot takes
You're
here?
too nice. I'm going to go to I'm going to go to Purge for a hot take.
I was also similar take as Trent here, to be disappointed, but it's very difficult to predict the best of ones because there's a lot of prep that goes into it. You might have some strat prepared. Your opponent could do something different. There's a lot of different ways it can go. There's nerves. There's so many. It's got to be some more nerves on those best of ones and best of threes, right? Because it's like, oh, you could mess up one gank, that gets you behind. Like, there was just so many games in the group stage where that's all it took was like one mistake after you're winning and the team comes back. So who knows? It's hard to predict.
I think the one thing I'd say, you talk about nerves, there's a few teams that have shown more nerves than others. Quincy Crew, Alliance, these are teams that have constantly not played well at the big stage. So I would look at those teams maybe to struggle in the best of ones.
That's true, but I heard, we have an in on Quincy Crew, of course, because our friend Jack, he said they were in the dumps. It was looking really bad for Quincy Crew, and then SVG, now LOA, he stepped up and he said, guys, everyone's time at TI for elimination, it eventually comes. Ours just came a little early. So they won those games in the group stage, they survived, and now, they just got another day of elimination. It's fine.
We have got a lot of Quincy Crew fanboys here. I know we're not meant to be biased on the desk, but I mean, I'm sat with a load of people who live in North America, so I have a feeling that there might be a little bit of bias. I'm not allowed to have any bias because I'm not meant to know anything. So that's fine. That's why I hold my hands up and say, can't really call it. However, I am scared of bias. I'm not allowed to have any bias because I'm not meant to see them make a deep tournament run potentially. But at the same time, they're going up against Elephant, and this is a team that is made up of Chinese superstars that just can't really seem to find their footing, gods.
Yeah, and the superstars that have played at TIs and made it to the finals, made it into 3rd place last year, at least half of that PSG LGD team that went fractured apart. The expectations on them is immensely high, but they've consistently kind of underperformed throughout the year. So I think a lot of people would be sad to see them knocked out, but it wouldn't maybe be the biggest shock.
And another team that maybe could call an upset maybe today would be Fnatic, because we didn't really have high hopes for them coming into the group stage. We thought, yeah, they're probably going to end up in the lower bracket. But it seemed like they had a really good start. It seemed like Zeph was really doing his bit for the team. They've really got another solid player in Chuyuan as well, who literally was the reason that they made it through to the main event in the first place. Do you think they can continue in this tournament?
Yeah, there was discussion coming into TI about that team, and one thing that came up was this idea of they tend to play maybe a little bit passive, and they tend to kind of wait, and like you end up coming to their high ground, and somehow they turn it around. And like we were kind of expecting these long games, and I believe they ended the group stage averaging the longest games across all the teams right now. So, gotta have them hold the line and wait for their time.
Oh, it's the horn, gentlemen, which means one thing: our teams are getting ready to take to the stage. So we've got about 2 minutes, and then they're going to be taking their places, and we are going to be getting into the draft. Is there anything you're expecting to see? Because we had 104. Oh,
it's a Ricky.
Oh.
It's Ricky Maru.
He looks like he's enjoying the game.
I haven't taught you that one yet. He goes invisible at level 6. That guy's under-leveled, that's all it is.
Yeah. That's all. Well, his friends are all leveled.
Yeah, he was the guy that had to go get the drink, so he needs more time.
He didn't get a toe.
Yeah,
you know.
It happens.
Is Ricky a classic TI hero?
Classic pub hero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's an initiation hero to Dota, where everyone gets frustrated because I feel like everyone in Dota is a little bit broken. You know, every hero's a little bit too good, and that's what makes Dota so beautiful. Ricky's particularly painful because you're just like, wait, so he's just like always invisible? Like, well, yeah. I mean, why is that an issue?
You hate Clinks? If Ricky was in the meta, you would hate Ricky right now instead.
Yeah.
I hate Ricky. I'm not a massive fan of Weaver. However, now I've played Weaver, I'm feeling a lot better about him. And actually, we saw Weaver so much in the group stage. I never associated him with that position 1 carry role before this event, and now it seems like we had one team who went for a position 4 Tiny, position 1 Weaver. I think it was T1 on the last day of the group stage. I couldn't believe it. He's strong now.
Yeah, he's really strong, but I think at least all the games I caught, I saw him a lot as support, and he's another one of those flex picks like Monkey King. You can pick him early in the draft, you can play him as a support, as a 4, we saw him successfully as a 5. His lane harass is just really powerful. He's got like 60 damage, you just need mangoes to like keep Sakuchiing through, forces sentries, it just does a lot.
Well, we are ready to go to the main stage here, which means the International 10 has begun. Team Spirit are here. They may be the underdogs in this opening upper bracket matchup, but do not underestimate these boys. Led by Miposhka, who did come top 8 at TI7 as part of Team Empire. The rest of the young players are definitely not going to be looking scared on that stage today. Yatoro, their carry, is just 18 years old and is absolutely fearless. Their off-laner, Collapse, 19 years old, an absolute standout for this team, and will be doing his best to control the tempo. This is a team that likes to play clean, structured Dota, and yet don't think they'll be showing any respect to Invictus Gaming on that stage today. We're gonna see some cheeky moves, Trent.
Oh, indeed. And yes, it may be a little chilly out there in the open arena, but don't worry, they're on a hot streak, 8 straight games, not dropping a match. So Team Spirit coming in completely on fire here as they enter the main stage.
I cannot even imagine what it is like to be playing your first TI in that massive arena and playing it against Invictus Gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your top seat going into the main stage. It's Invictus Gaming.
Their position for Captain Kaka is an intelligent drafter, hugely experienced. This is his 5th TI appearance. He even came second in 2017 with his team Newbie. But meanwhile, he's joined by his teammates JT and Ollie. This is their first TI, and Fly started his career years ago, 2014 he went pro, and yet he's only been to one TI event before with Serenity. But now he's ready to make his mark, and they're gonna do it in flashy form. They're not really caring about pushing towers, these guys. These guys are gonna be looking for a fight. They are gonna be getting flashy out there, and you know what? They're good for it. They only dropped 2 games in the group stage, 1 to Undying and 1 to OG, and who can forget the Singapore Major Gods?
A historic moment where IG rocked the world with their historic question mark, turning a reverse sweep against EG, coming back from 2 games down. It was just one of the most unheard of, unbelievable stories of the time.
And you know what? I think it's a moment that deserves revisiting. So let's take a look into detail at Invictus Gaming.
Dust coming around the back. I like this little wraparound. Dream Coil perfectly placed on it too. They're gonna both snap it, but first strike was on a 3 RP. Huge here from Emo. Down goes Dust. Yam follows into the grave. Kaz is not shortly after dead. And while TZY he'll run, not sure he gets out of this one. Slowed up by Fly, pulled back by Emo, and they are on him and ready to kill off a 4th. Man, what an RP from Emo.
Dark Rift, Aghanim Scepter upgraded by Underlord, so that means 1 second less delay.
Oh, they're gonna jump on TZ, sheep it in! But they're in, they've got the Hex, they've got the Dissimulate Star on TZ, and Trouble is getting taken out, gets the BKB off! Oh, it's on TZ will be able to keep himself alive! Ice boots over the back, nice takes down Ollie, but the Rod's there, they control Ice, they bring him down, the Lycan falls. Somehow though, EG able to keep RTZ alive. Nearly ending in another disaster there, as RTZ still does not have the buyback goal. Big tip in from Arben, gets the ball, next time to them. RTZ moving in, they've got the link down on the fly, keep themselves over the line, still, can they take him out of time? They can! But Rift gets Fly out of there! Not easy, it's low, Emo's catching up.
He's gonna drop.
Emo's able to just walk back up to him and out the Hex, Emo's able to set him on to crit, the Hex into the stun. A question
mark in the old chat, alright, I love that. GG's call. He was just standing there. All right.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Spicing it up a little bit.
He is very hit or miss on the hero. Sometimes he owns incredibly hard. Nice cut off from a tree. Beer.
Following that up with a spear, so a lot of stun time with the arrow. Really well done by JT.
That's just why he is considered the best of there in China. JT is an absolute beast.
Lotus Orb is done on Underlord, but he needs to like precast it on Sven before Sven gets a good jump.
See how they can start things. RTZ, it's a little fly, they get the drag back. They do turn with the start on the 2 of them, but as they bring down Arbed. Arbed will go down, RTZ as well, getting turned. RTZ's got the ones. He's got the Aegis, he's going to be back for a second round, but the Supernova is going to be successful. EG trying to get back in to help him out, but the Supernova goes off. They've all been stunned. IG's able to take down RTZ getting brought down. RTZ's dead. IG finding up with the Magnetize. Crit trying to do his best to rectify the fight, keeping the Magnetize going, but the Spike Carapace trips up Crit. IG turns, they take him down as well. JT, perfect Lotus, lays it down onto Fly, causing Arbed to pull himself in with the Vortex. And with Arbed gone, things start to fall apart very quickly. Perfect use of the Supernova to guarantee that stun on RTZ's revival from the Aegis. Got 10 seconds to Black Hole.
Emo, Refresher Shard, double Abyssal Blade, like Resonant Pulses, 4 Astral Chap charges.
He's in straight away with the fingers immediately bursting down. RTZ RTZ's going to get taken down. Jump over with the Abyssal Blade over towards Ice, and RTZ, they're out of the game. IG, they'll turn towards more. GG is called as IG are your champions of the Singapore Major. And they come in and they achieve the reverse sweep against EG in the best of 5.
When you look back to Singapore, it's not really that surprising that they're the top seed of the main stage, is it, Gods?
Yeah, after that, they didn't do as well at the next major, but they were there playing with a stand-in, and they were also kind of already secured their TI slot. So we've seen this team just really grow, develop. They've been playing together for over 2 years now, forming in late 2019, and it feels like everything is clicking. They're in that Singapore major form here at TI.
So literally, they've just been spending the last couple of years waiting for TI 10, because we do see on an annual basis after TI, some of these teams deciding to reassemble. The roster shuffle is a real thing post-TI, and yet because we haven't had this event for unfortunately so long, we've now seen these teams given a chance to really find that chemistry they need, Trent.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than usual. Perhaps, you know, Dota, especially certain regions, are known for breaking apart faster and like trying to fix things by swapping players, but this was a real opportunity to actually like examine yourselves and try and talk about your issues. And I think that that's something that a lot of players have even talked about, where people try to be more open and try and just say like, you know, how they felt about the game and where they think it went wrong, maybe other than just like the coach and the captain discussing it, but trying to involve everyone in your strategies to improve the entire unit.
Who do you guys think is the most dangerous player on this roster?
I think Kaka's a huge one that everyone needs to look at. Like his skill level is just so high that you're going to crush your lanes sometimes, and there's so much emphasis in drafts on having strong lanes that if you just have an overstellar performance in the laning stage, it can completely throw your opponent's plans on the back foot, and it ruins what they want to hit timing-wise, has massive cascading impacts.
Do we think that Invictus are probably going to have the upper hand in the draft in terms of their flexibility? Because that's what Kaka's known for. He's known for being able to make choices on the fly because he has so many years of experience in this game.
Yeah, I'd give them a bit of an edge. It feels like they have more heroes that they can play in different roles, particularly like heroes like the Tide Hunter. Their carry players play 12 different heroes throughout, similar to Yatoro, but it just feels like IG a bit more versatile and have a bit more up their sleeves when it comes to the draft.
And what are we expecting from their playstyle today? Do you think they are going to literally be heading straight to the finish line as quickly as possible? Or do you think, you know what, they're going to take their time, try and keep Spirit on their toes in a different way, Trent?
Yeah, is this fast games because that's their playstyle, or fast games that are just that good, you know, and you just end up kind of crushing everything? Personally, I'm hoping for longer games because I do think that their team fighting is some of the most masterful out of all the teams here, particularly out of their support duo, because like I find like Kaka, he can just like make a good fight because he just gets some stun that you're not expecting, some hex out of nowhere on the line, and puts you one hero up in engagement you don't think about. And then Ollie on the back line with the Phoenix, I think he's shown to be like the best Phoenix player over the past 2 years, particularly at that major. So I'd love to see more of that.
Well, moving over to the spiritual side of things, Purge, I have an inkling you're kind of fans of this team from Eastern Europe.
Yeah, I am. It was fun to watch them throughout DPC. Season 1, they looked okay. They had like moments of greatness, and they had other times when they fell apart, but they just got better slowly over the course of the year, and they were relatively close to qualifying DPC. I think they ended up with like 500 or somewhere around there. But they've just gotten better and better over time. You could see it in their confidence. Toronto Tokyo leading his team on the stage, probably leading his team partially in-game as well. I think his confidence seems high. They have high skill. They're going to play their lanes well, and as long as they keep that cohesive, Collapse is amazing. They have so many good players, genuinely. They're a great team to watch, so they have a shot here.
What is key to those hype peak moments that you were just mentioning there?
You just doing things that your opponents don't necessarily expect, like getting advantages or kills, not overextending. It's hard to do it though, because if your opponents start reading your movements and you punish those mistakes, it's like the game gets upended for at least a minute, which might seem small, but in a high level game of Dota is so much. You lose map control, that leads to the next gank being harder, and so much else.
We could talk about inexperience, maybe getting to these players on the stage, given that only one of them, Aposhka, has actually been to a TI before. And yet, this team showed remarkable resilience in the group stage. When you think about it, they lost to the teams you would expect them to lose to. They lost to the teams that are currently in the upper bracket. So they lost to Vici, they lost to LGD, and they lost to Team Secret. But they beat all the other teams that we now see in the lower bracket from their group. I like to call it a gatekeeper team. You know, they're beating the teams that they would be expected to beat, and they're losing to the teams you would expect them to lose to. Does that therefore mean they're not necessarily going to make an upper bracket run?
You're spelling their doom here.
I am. I'm being a little bit mean, aren't I? It's fine. I'm dressed as a supervillain today.
I think the other side of that is the way that it happened. They started 0-4, then they were 2-6. They had to make this red hot uphill run to just really get into the upper bracket. So while they may be that kind of gatekeeper type team, they're on an 8-game win streak. They beat teams that many people would have thought would be favored to beat them. So the fact they're in the upper bracket, I think, really shows that you can't underestimate them.
There was one trend here. They never went 1-1. They either 2-0'd, they 0-2'd. If they don't get the momentum going out against IG today, can they really get themselves together for that second?
I think so. I think they have a good shot. I think it gives me a lot of faith that they started the group stage with losses, because if you're a fresh team that doesn't have a huge amount of TI experience and you get all those losses, it just feels like, oh, I even heard from one of the Russian talents saying that he saw them arguing too excessively about like mistakes in game, because it was a player that has played high-level competitions. He mentioned that he'd seen them doing it, so he says you just got to move past that. There's too many games. Don't focus on the little stuff. So the fact that they were able to like maybe less constructively argue but still like win all their games afterwards, that looks really good for their overall confidence. So yeah, I could see them losing game one and still coming back.
It is kind of hard to talk about Team Spirit without thinking about Virtus Pro, their regional rivals, who went 7-0 in both of their DPC seasons. Yeah. How does Spirit compare to VP playstyle-wise?
Yeah, it is interesting because you don't want to like lump them together just because they're from the same region, but I mean, they're both pretty young teams. They do tend to play like fairly similar. I guess in a lot of ways, Team Spirit is just lacking some experience in certain departments, like particularly, I guess, like the hero diversity. Like I think that's something that VP has, and it's also something that IG has, and so that's a little bit worrisome, I would say, coming into this, that the draft is definitely going to be playing a major factor.
Are we expecting anything in terms of heroes today? We have got our fabulous draft panel coming up soon, but I'm just wondering if there are any kind of signature heroes on either side that each team is going to want to ban, or any kind of combinations that they might be looking to pull out?
It's a Mars fight, I think,
yeah,
for the most part, right?
The two offlaners have a fairly similar hero pool, the Tide Mars being the two big ones, and those two heroes have both been really solid throughout the tournament, so either hotly contested or perhaps banned. I think that the carry players both have this huge hero pool. They both play 12 different heroes, so we're much more looking at the small hero pool in the other roles.
Yeah, and Toronto Tokyo is a player, it's like typical Spirit heroes, aggressive, but he can also like sit back and do the tower pusher, DP type heroes. He's very high skill, had some excellent games, but probably Spirit heroes for him is the other thing that I expect to see.
Any particular Spirit hero you think is going to work well against the opposition?
Void Spirit, Ember Spirit, potentially Storm Spirit type of heroes are definitely the Toronto Tokyo specials.
And in terms of the game start, how we're going to see these guys go up against each other, we've already spoken, I guess, about IG wanting to finish fast. Do you think Spirit are going to be in the same boat today, Trent?
It is the best of threes, which is good, because I think like the best of ones, they tend to really stall out. Like we'll see later, like everyone's a very like hesitant, because you're coming with a very like tailored game plan. You're just going for that like one sort of game that you just need to win, right? But a best of three, you do have time to actually look at what's happening in your first game, try and react to it. I would imagine it to be a pretty chill game one, and we'll see where we go from there depending on how it feels.
So we're not going to see any showboating later on today when we get to those best of ones, but maybe we're going to see something flashy today?
It's possible.
What are you expecting? What are you hoping for?
I'm hoping to see a game where Emo just pops off, because he, to me, is like the player who could just take over this entire series. I think he matches up really well against a Spirit team that's more focused on team fighting, slowing down the game at times. Outside of maybe their aggressive support play, I could see Emo just completely going off in both two games.
Can you explain to me the question mark, please? Because there are a few people out there who might not understand what the question mark is, because there is a psychological game being played in Dota 2. I mean, you experience it in your pub games, you experience it on a stage as big as the TI one. OG are the masters of that, but at the Singapore Major, it was all about Emo.
I think the biggest, most important thing about trash talk in Dota, it's almost exclusively voice lines, and it has been for years. He pressed Shift-Enter and he typed a question mark. It's common in pubs, but in pro games, that's pretty disrespectful.
There's a line.
That was over the perceived line of like what's acceptable. Most times they don't want to spend time on it, but like watching that clip, he did it during the team fight. He was like still there casting spells. He's like casted Aether Remnant, time to Shift Enter question mark. It was powerful.
And it was this build up because IG had lost the previous 2 games, and throughout those 2 games, EG had been constantly taunting Imo.
Yes.
They were tipping him, they were throwing voice lines at him, and he was playing poorly those first 2 games. So to make this big comeback in game 3, and then he just lets all this anger out with that question mark, was like this huge turnaround moment for him.
Yeah, this is actually the opportunity for me to confess to Purge that the reason I have been playing so badly in pub games is because I want people's shards, and I really enjoy being tipped.
I mean, that's one way to do it, yeah.
I actually have 5k MMR. I'm getting there.
5k, is that what you said?
Yes. It's more believable if I don't say 7.
Did you say 5k shards? Is that what you said?
No, I said MMR.
You must have played a lot between last time we played, because, yeah. Great, you got better a lot in a week.
Yeah, it's because Slax has been coaching me.
I don't...
Oh, he didn't like that.
I'm just going to let that awkward silence fall. It's absolutely fine. You know what? We've got about a minute before hopefully we can get into the draft, and I am going to do this thing. I am going to go for predictions, and I'm going to ask, is the winner of the International 10 on that stage right now?
Not according to my bracket. So I hope not.
Neither of these teams have red in their logo, so definitely not. LG is still looking very... IG's looking amazing by all means, but... probably LGD, I would say.
I think IG's a contender. Absolutely, they're a tier 1 team. They're on that same kind of group of teams with LGD. I think there's maybe like 3 or 4 teams, LGD, IG, I'd say even OG, potentially Secret, kind of who are the real top contenders right now. So maybe. I don't have IG in my bracket, but I wouldn't be a huge shock if they do win the International.
Who do you have in your bracket?
I have PSG LGD. Very original.
Very original. Up against 2 in the final?
I think I had EG because I'm an EG fan.
There he is. Let's go.
I'm surprised you admitted that on panel.
How dare you? We're
Really?
Quincy Crew fans here.
Didn't want to lie on air, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's EG.
Do you think that EG can make it through that lower bracket?
Yes. I hope so.
There is a little bead of sweat
stupid.
on God's face right now. That's why we haven't gone back to the panel and we're still on the stage, because the man has gone puce. Okay, Trent, now tell me about your bracket, your predictions.
Bracket.
Yeah,
You
your
guys wanna
overall
know?
predictions.
And
yeah.
now that you guys can't copy it, that's really good. You'll benefit from this. I do have LGD in the final. I actually have them losing, though, I believe, to Vici Gaming.
Losing again?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, Vici's really good too. It's a possibility. You never know.
Of course, you can't go with the obvious stuff. You want to win the bracket, guys.
Do you want? I mean, you want to win. Like, what are you going to compare it to everybody else? Like, guys, look,
Listen, I need
got
that free
slightly
tip,
better.
the free trip to TI if you have the full correct bracket. They did that one year. You know,
that's true.
it's my only hope of getting back here, guys.
There was like one guy that won.
I almost broke a mixer in group stage. Okay, they're not bringing me back. I gotta find a way.
You just used your side-eye tone of voice, as I call it, Purge.
Oh, yeah?
You're really down on Vici Gaming. Why?
No, I'm not like super down on them. It's just
You're down on them winning TI.
Yeah, a little bit compared to IG and LGD. I mean, Vici Gaming looks excellent by all means, but they're still like a upper to mid tier. You know, like I would place them like 4th to 6th somewhere in there is like very likely for them. But winning the whole thing, maybe less likely than LGD or IGD.
I think you need an X factor to win TI, and I just don't see that with Vici Gaming. It's the kind of X factor that OG's always had. I would say teams like Secret have it, IG, PSG, LGD both have it. That to me is what it takes to like win a TI. That kind of wild card factor.
This is good motivation here. You see, they don't have an X factor, but now they're going to hear this. They're going to find out the English panel was trashing them. That's going to motivate Vici. I just secured this bracket.
So essentially, Vici, they're not a tingle team.
A tingle team.
Yeah, you don't get tingles when you think about Vici on that stage.
Okay, yeah, and that's basically what Gods was saying. Like, you have to have the X factor, that like that chaos, that like surprising. Because if you have this like battle plan that's like very consistent and readable, these other top teams that are excellent, smart people are going to be able to figure it out, and they're going to find a solution. They're going to find a hero that counters their plan, something like that. And that's what loses you some like super deep run.
Okay. I'm just going to sidestep over what you said then, which sounded like you said that Vici were not insightful, intelligent people.
No, I just said if you play without tingle, people are going to figure out what your moves are, and then they're just going to like eventually beat you.
Who tingles you from Team Spirit? I love this new term. This is great.
Who tingles me on Team Spirit? Collapse. He uses my voice lines. That's why I'm.
Oh, that's why you're shilling Collapse.
Really would love to see Team Spirit go all the way. Get about 2 or 3 per game typically. Really.
What is your voice line?
Honestly, I'm really impressed
Shill
with voice
yourself.
line usage so far this tournament. It's been really good.
It's quality.
What's your voice line?
I just said it.
Oh, it felt very insignificant. Say it again.
Honestly, I'm really impressed with it. That one. Yeah.
I've never heard that before. I've literally never heard you say that phrase. So it's fine. I don't think anyone's used my voice line.
I was impressed with your last day of streaming we did. You did a lot better. You're getting better.
Yeah, he
Maybe
said
not 5K, but big improvement.
after a year, he said, you finally played a game of Dota 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Dark Window.
That's high praise, actually.
It is.
Yeah. That takes a while. That takes months.
Yeah, it took me about 12 of them, and it's absolutely fine. All right then, this is a best of 3 situation. It's our first best of 3, and it's obviously the first match of the main event. Is this going to go all the way?
Out of our matchups today in the upper bracket, of course, I would say it's the least likely to go to Game 3. It is expecting to be another perhaps IG 2-0, or as you said, Team Spirit also doing lots of 2-0ing, so who knows. But again, I would go back to just that first game in terms of like how we're going to set the momentum for this, because if they can keep the hot streak going, that's like the best possible sign for Team Spirit, right? They need that emotional sort of high that they have right now, whereas IG just has like so much background skill and background experience that they're not as dependent on that. So game 2, I could easily see IG still turning it around.
Gods?
I would predict
Very quickly?
IG 2-0. I think the preparation time gives them a bit of an edge as well.
But 2-1, 2-0?
2-0.
Okay, and Purge.
I could see 2-1 IG. I think Spirit can win a game for sure.
You've become so much more diplomatic over the course of this last 10 minutes.
Have I?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
You said that in almost a positive voice.
Oh, you said quickly to him, so I was like, I gotta go fast.
No, I liked it. It was very decisive. And you know what? The teams are still in their pods right now thinking. So we are going to get into the lobby very soon. And we are also going to get over to our draft panel. Because, let me tell you, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but they have really scrubbed up. Very nicely. Very nicely indeed. We have a bow tie, ladies and gentlemen. We have a bow tie in the building. Guys on main panel, where's yours? Where's yours?
I like ties. I've never explored the bow tie path, but it's fine. I don't hate it or anything. Just.
I mean, you obviously love an actual tie, because we came in today and Purge's face fell because he saw that I had a laptop and there was another laptop on the desk, and he started to get very, very concerned and was going, guys, do we have to have the laptop here? I'm wearing a tie.
No, he said he's wearing a raspberry tie.
I'm sorry, he's wearing a raspberry tie. Did you tie it yourself?
Yeah, I did actually. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to because I haven't worn a tie in legitimately 2 years. But the muscle memory came back. It felt good. I was like, oh, I still got it.
That's the happiest you've been all day. Oh, okay. You know what? Because we're still waiting to get into the lobby, let's have a chat about OG Secret, because that is the other upper bracket match we've got coming up today. And this is incredible. These two teams haven't played each other at a TI before. What are the stakes in this match, Trent? It feels personal.
It does. It definitely does. I don't think the social media servers can handle it. I'm pretty sure like Twitter's going to go down. Like I feel like they just need to get like the social media team from each of those squads in a room together, and they can just hash it out there and tell us the results later. Because my feed just becomes nothing but OG and Secret during these TI days, and now they're actually playing each other. I'm genuinely concerned for them.
Yeah. You thought Squid Game was violent. Wait till you see this.
They have to have a meeting and be like, all right, guys, no knives. We're just going to punch each other. Like
nothing to the face.
Yeah, no personal attacks. Don't slip into DMs. There's rules, man. Got to follow them.
And we know with OG, there's such a psychological warfare going on. I feel like they plan for that as much as they plan for the drafts. What do we think is loaded up on the no-tail chat wheel?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Probably, I mean, you got to go for your opponent's voice lines. Ideally, some ones that are like rub it in a little bit. But with that said, I feel like Team Secrets, they're all veterans. Like, they're going to be semi-immune to that kind of thing. I don't know if it's going to work on them.
They know where the mute button is. They have found it. They've been here before.
Yeah.
That's the issue, isn't it?
That's why you got to go to the sprays. Can't mute the sprays.
With that said, though, half of it is also riling your team up, and that's something that OG clearly uses to get excited. They use chat wheels to hype each other up, so you know they'll have half the battle at least. The other half is Dota.
I noticed that neither of you, or none of you, I should say, because there are 3 of you, none of you said that OG is going to be doing the 3-peat this year. Gods, any reason why?
I just think winning TI is the hardest tournament to win. It's definitely possible with OG, but for me, they've still got that magic, but things are a little bit different, not quite the same roster. I just feel like this is a year where they're going to come up a bit short. I don't really have a good answer. It's just gut sometimes. and gut with OG, usually they end up with finding a way to win anyway. So I'm sure, and everyone who doubts them, it seems to motivate them more.
So they're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel kind of similar that they still have the magic. They underperformed for the whole year a little bit under expectations, but they've got Sumail magic this year, and I think that's a really big difference. I think he's been playing fantastic. He was playing well in pubs that I was watching before we came to TI. He's been playing well in the group stage games, so I think that's absolutely there. But with that said, like repeating 3 times in a row seems very difficult. And I would also say that like there's a lot of insanely good teams this year. Like I feel like the previous TI years, you go into it, you're like, yeah, OG's looking really good, but like there wasn't like extremely crisp competition like IG and LGD and maybe like 2 other teams. So I feel like it's just a little harder for them to get the W this year.
I may be thinking about a conversation that was had in the bar the other day as opposed to on air, but hopefully no one will mind it. It turns out, guys, when we're not talking about Dota on air, we're talking about Dota elsewhere, which is the description of OG as 4 supports and a carry. Would you agree with that, Perch?
I would, yeah. And that's like the Topson X factor that he's always had, that he plays aggressive and he's not afraid to die on the enemy side of the map because he knows he's going to draw 3 heroes. So it is a goal to facilitate their carry in the past with Ana. With Sumail, maybe they don't have to do that as hard as the past, so maybe that opens them up to more options. But yeah, it can be like that sometimes.
Why don't they have to do that as much as Sumail?
The general perception was that Ana needed to have a good game, at least so that maybe to keep morale up, something like that. So I would say Sumail's much more, he's got an ego, that's been clear. It's been toned down a little bit, so he's got confidence. He's got really strong confidence. Sumail can play from behind, and maybe that wasn't something that they were as comfortable with in previous TIs.
I mean, the man won TI when he was a teenager while wearing an airline pillow around his neck. So obviously, all I want to know is he going to be wearing the airline pillow again this year? God.
He's got a bit more swagger these days.
Yeah, but that would be hype if he came out of the finals with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty swag. But you know what is hype right now? We are ready to kick off with our first match, IG versus Spirit.
Team Spirit versus Invictus Gaming. Game 1.
And welcome to the draft panel. We're here with the first draft of the first game of the first series of the main event here at TI10. My name is Abel Plus, whatever people may call me, that's my name. And I am surrounded by 2 of the greatest minds in the Dota world. On my right, I have Insania, previous TI player, future TI player as well, current analyst. And on my left, Lacoste, ex-TI player as well, current comedian.
Yeah, not a future TI player for sure.
Who knows what the future holds?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe we team up if you see some good ideas coming out on this draft panel from me, or like, well, we blitz, see you around, or some of the players need to get kicked out, and I'll hop in.
If anyone's looking for a coach, you know, if your team is called online something, Lacoste is ready for them. So, what can we expect from this draft, Lacoste?
I think Viver's going to be highly contested. Both of these teams really love to run it. And panel talked about collapse heroes. His hero pool has been not so wide. He's been, playing only a couple of heroes: Mars, Tidehunter, Vengeful Spirit. So you need to either ban it out. Going back to Viver, I think that's Mira's really good hero. And Rubik's also going to be contested. If Viver is picked, Rubik is definitely going to be picked as a counter because, everyone wants to have a Shikuchi on the team. You can do so much as a position 4, buying time, especially if you're playing from behind, killing the couriers, de-warding. I think this is the hero that is flex, but in most of the cases is being played as a position 4.
Insania, what could we be expecting? What are the heroes you think we could be expecting? We talked, or the other panel talked about the off-lane matches particularly.
I mean, I think Tidehunter is going to be... So we saw Spirit, they have an 8-game win streak, and a lot of that has been off the back of Tidehunter. So I think for them, they got to be thinking about Tidehunter. But I think at the same time, right now, when you were doing your prep yesterday, you're going to be like, okay, they also know that we've been winning with Tide a lot. And the difference between group stage and main stage is that every team has so much time to prep for you. Both Spirit has time to prep for IG, and IG has time to prep for Spirit. So while you might have gotten away with getting Tidehunter 6 games in a row in the group stage, you're not going to get it uncontested here on the main stage. So I think they got to be thinking about potential matchups there and what IG might have prepared for their Tide.
What do you think we could be seeing here for the offlane, maybe new picks for the offlane matchup? I know you're a fan of Team Spirit, particularly Collapse, as everyone is. Is there anything you think he could be pulling out that we haven't seen at TI yet, Lacoste?
There could be, some flex picks. We've seen Tiny being played as different roles, support position 4. I've seen someone played as a position 3, so it could be a thing. Because to go back to Tiny, he's also the one that is being played at the mid lane for Team Spirit, which is a bit unusual at this point. Also, I don't think we're going to see Lycan. Team Spirit did not play a single Lycan game in the group stage, and IG only played it once.
When Team Spirit plays the Tiny, because other teams have played the Tiny mid as well, and they just play carry from the mid lane, really. Is that the same style we see for Spirit?
You still want to go for the carry items. You want to be able to scale. We are not going to see that E-Blade type of a build Dagon, I still feel. Especially with the offlaners providing some kind of buff for your carry / mid laner, press the attack from the Legion Commander, anything that builds into Solar Crest. I feel like we're in a meta where you need to find a way how to buff up your carry multiple times. We've even seen OG play offline IO.
Do you think that IG might be able to pull off those stops in the offlane?
Yeah, I think JT has a pretty big hero pool, actually. I think he might not have played that many heroes here so far, but I think it's because he just hasn't needed to. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him playing a wide variety of heroes.
Are you a fan of the buffing offlaners more so than the fighting offlaners in the current meta?
I think you got to find a balance. It's kind of like depending on what your 5 plays and what your 3 plays. I think you got to fit team fight in between those 2 positions. So if you have a 5 that plays a lot of like his IOs, like IG does, Ollie's like a really good IO player. I think it was one of his highest win rates in pubs when I was checking him out the weeks leading into TI. So I think for IG specifically, probably more teamfight offlane, more buffing 5. But you never know like what they've prepared, and they surely are able to flex those heroes around.
We were discussing this previously, obviously off camera. You were talking about how the strength of the 5 in the current meta right now. And that, do you think that's led to the buffing offlaner as well, that the 5 is much more of a lane dominator these days?
I think so, but most of the 5s that are very strong in the lane tend to have some sort of buff mechanic. Like you have the Wisp with the overcharge, you have Ogre with the Frenzy, Bloodlust. So you get those tools naturally from like the stronger laners, and then the weaker laners like these Phoenixes and stuff, they tend to have more team fight.
Right. Lacoste.
Yeah, position 4, like just want to compare it to position 5, or position 4 right now just feels very weird to play. You're kind of playing position 5, buying so many sentries and doing basically a position 5's job. So we're going to see, some of the standard stuff. To go back a bit to Team Spirit offlaner, NS is one hero that they had a great success with, especially combined with the Snapfire. So potentially, because NS as a hero was not played as a damage dealer, but with the introduction of the new talents in the recent patch, he's one of the best, I'd say, damage dealing offlaners at the moment.
Yeah, and there's 2 pretty different offlane type players, right? You have Collapse, that's more of like the carry type. He's going to look to deal damage. He's going to look to be like the person that goes in a bit later in fights, or he's more of a core player for Spirit, whereas I feel like JT is more of the initiator type. He's more of the classic traditional offlane type player, and it's also reflected in the carry playstyles because you have, sorry, I'm blanking on his name, Yatoro, who's more active, versus Fly, who's like more of a traditional carry who just farms. So you have like kind of opposite positions and roles in that way. But yeah, draft started.
Draft, there we go. And here we have a pick that Perch actually pointed out in the draft. It was the Lion for Kaka, one of probably his best hero, honestly. And they combined with Io, 2 support start for them.
IG had a great success so far in the group stage with Lion. When you pair up anything with Io, you need to have some kind of a stun coming out from position 4, otherwise your lineup tends to be very weak against certain stuff.
Do you think that the Mars Elder Titan combo, like they let the Mars through, right? They didn't let the Titaner through. A lot of the people were talking about the strength of Mars for Collapse. Is that okay? Is it okay to let that through, or do you think that's been a bit of a overconfidence?
No, I think they must have planned this out. So they're banning Titaner and Tiny, and you can't really, like, when you come to this point in the tournament, you're going to have to let some heroes through, and you got to try to plan, like, what heroes do I want to face? Because at this point, like, at this high level of competition, you're going to, with 80% security, know what heroes they're picking. So, like, in this position, IG probably said, like, okay, so we're going to open this way, and we're going to expect them to be picking either this, or that. So you're ready for all of the scenarios that might come out. So based on the opener, I think both teams are pretty happy. I think Kaka on any hero that has a Blink Hex has been, like, working extremely well for IG.
Oh yeah, throughout the season 1 and 2, his Shadow Shaman was really on point and got them so many Ws. Lion is kind of the same thing, where he provides you with the stun control, the instant hex that you just mentioned. Legion Commander and Doom being banned out by Team Spirit. We talked about buffing up coming out from the off lane, and Legion Commander provides that. Also instant dispel against Lion, so no surprise there.
Also a big JT here. What do you think of the oh wow, they just picked up the Bane here. A hero that we actually didn't see very much in the group stages, but a hero that was very much loved and actually got a lot of bans. So it was quite contested, not very much picked. What do you think of this Ullerton plus Bane combination?
I feel like it's like a very typical Eastern European style draft where they're very lane dominant. Like you have Bane that's very strong in lane. It's gonna lane well nicely into the Wisp if it's ran as a 5. Or the ET, because ET generally speaking struggles when you play against stuns. So Io is one of the heroes that doesn't have any sort of like disable. His slow mechanism on the tether doesn't really slow down ET when you're coming in with boots and bonus movement speed. So I think most likely you're gonna see this. What we've seen a lot of teams do, right, is draft a lot of flex. Yep. Right now Spirit it's pretty telegraphed where their heroes are going. It's most likely gonna be the Collapse Mars. I think they can flex at Toronto Tokyo, but the hero hasn't really been popular as a mid hero in the past couple of like weeks or so. So I doubt it. I would assume IG are pretty aware that it's going to be a Collapse Mars and the ET4. So Bane is also almost guaranteed a 5. So I think from IG side, they're pretty happy because I think between most of the teams in the upper bracket right now flex a lot more than they do.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I wanted to say. Like these two teams, you see the heroes, you pretty much know where the heroes are going to go, even though we are in the flex meta where you see 5 heroes, you don't know which hero is going to be playing which role.
Yeah.
Lashrak, that's going to be a lot of damage. That's going to be a bit of more tower damage that they needed with Lion, Monkey, and Io. I mean, Monkey becomes tower damage dealing hero, but a bit later on. I'm talking about sieging the high ground, which sometimes can be a bit difficult.
I think this is something IJ really likes, running the emo Lesh with a Wisp 5. So one of the big differences between running Wisp 5 is you tend to go for more of a healing style build. You're going to level up your overcharge much earlier into the game compared to if you play it as a 3 where you're skilling up the balls instead. So it really is nice to have a hero in the middle lane that's going to be over-leveled and powerful for you to tether up with and make moves around the map. And this is a really classic counter. You pick the Quasex Invoker to burn his mana.
And also a Toronto Tokyo hero through and through. Unfortunately, has been playing his Quasex Sword Invoker, which was his signature style a while ago, but Quasex for this draft. It's the standard Team Spirit draft, right? I've never seen them draft that's unsafe or that I feel like they made a mistake. It's just, you know what they're going to do, and it's a safe playstyle.
Team Spirit's draft is really good at disengaging. You have one of the better heroes in the game, that's ET, and also with EMP Tornado. So no surprise, there is a ban for Faceless Void coming out from IG. Morphling is still in the pool, so that's potentially something that they would want to grab up on Team IG.
You think it's going to be then? What do you think?
Because they could still flex things around. Like they don't know the matchup. I remember during the season 2, there were a couple of offlane Monkey Kings, so we yet have to see.
That was a Seb creation, actually. He loved to go for that Witchblade build. Flyfly is also a proficient Monkey King player. Very, very big fan of the hero. It fits his playstyle as similar to the Morphling as well that he loves playing. And also, are you guys not surprised the Monkey King made it through the first phase of ban, or the first and second phase of bans?
So Team Spirit actually doesn't really play Monkey. It's a hero that they haven't really touched up.
So would you not ban it then?
I mean, they probably thought that the Emo Storm is more of an issue, and the Earthshaker is traditionally considered a fairly good hero against ET because you have multiple rounds of stuns. So when ET runs at you can just enchant Totem and you get the Aftershock stun, as well as the Fissure. So you have a lot of ways to get yourself out of trouble and making sure he doesn't deal damage. Plus the Fissure block off is just hard to deal with during the early parts of the game.
Are there any carries here that you'd really like to see for Team Spirit particularly? Yeah, or usually the rock of the team?
I think both these teams have quite wide hero pools on their carries. Like I even saw Yatoro play Shadow Fiend carry during this tournament, so it's going to probably be pretty dependent on what we see here from IG. Because like you said, they still have the option of running the Monkey King as a 3 if they think it's the way they want to go about things. Monkey King is a fairly decent hero against Mars ever since they buffed his armor, so he has a pretty decent lane matchup there, and with the sustain from Wisp, you can always keep running at them. And I think the nice thing that IG has going here is that their heroes are going to be setting the pace of this game. If you think about how Dota works, if you have the ability to run at towers and push, you get to choose when you want to fight. And I think in this tournament, that's been really, really important. Whereas Team Spirit, they're playing more of like a defensive, aggressive style where they're going to come fight you whenever you decide to make a move. You're going to have Mars defending his towers, you're going to have Bane setting up in trees, and you're going to have Invoker responding to moves.
All Slardar. So they might start thinking about the ranged type of a hero. One of the reasons why they banned out TB. Maybe a Drow Ranger wouldn't be that bad. but then you still have two heroes that you have to deal with that potentially one gets a Blink Dagger on a Slardar, and then you have a Monkey King jumping you. It's a tough one. You do not want to pick a melee hero because your lane is going to be ruined against Slardar.
Can you get away with a Dusa here, which is one of the few tanky ranged heroes?
Yeah, Dusa works as well.
I was thinking Luna potentially. You have the Luna Invoker, considered very strong together. Luna Bane also. Bane benefits from the Luna aura quite a bit because you get to use Nightmare, you sleep them, and you have bonus damage from the aura. So you get a lot of hits in. I could see that working pretty nicely against the Slardar.
If it's a timings as well, right, then you'd like to talk about the tempo of the team goes well with Luna.
And if you think about how IG is going to want to play this game, they're going to want to be running at you, so having that extra team fight could have been nice. But Morphling fits the same concept. It's just ranged hero laning against Slardar, and that's pretty important.
All right, quick strengths of the IG draft Lacoste.
They're very good at running at you. You have this early aggression. Once Slardar picks up a Blink Dagger, that's going to be their setup for relocates. For the weaknesses, I don't see too many weaknesses. You know, I wanted to see the draft. I wanted to say that Team Spirit is going to win this one because I believe in the
with Cinderin, main event, Cinderman, stop smiling. There's nothing to be happy about. This is IG versus Team Spirit. We have cast a ton of IG in the group stage. They were completely dominant. And we've cast a ton of Spirit throughout the entire year. And they have kind of had this, I mean, they've had this underdog mentality the entire year, and they've just gotten better and better with each event.
Yeah, I think in many ways it's fair to say for all the teams at this event, that might be the team that's undergone the biggest growth from start to finish of the season. It's been really incredible to watch them. And a lot of the times when these young teams come into TI, it can be but whatever they did, it worked. Managing to get to the upper bracket was something I think a lot of people were not even expecting this team to be capable of, and they did it in one of the hardest ways by starting out with 2 losses. So it's been very, very impressive to watch. I think they have a lot of their, trademark heroes in this game. Love playing aggressive style, having a lot of stuns in team fight. It's very classic for the Eastern European region to draft like this, and Team Spirit, I think compared to other teams in that region, are just more stable. They make less mistakes, they make more smart and big plays around the map, and largely a player I look to on this team is going to be Toronto Tokyo, and this game he's playing Invoker, so could definitely make it happen.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few beastly games from him in particular, so you heard what the draft panel had to say about the lineups. What are your thoughts going into this game number 1?
I think they pretty much hit the nail on the head. IG's early Tricorp presence, if you want to call it that, with Slardar, Monkey King, Leshrac can be really powerful. These heroes work relatively well against BKB, at least 2 of them. Slardar, Monkey King can do a lot, and that is an item you would see a lot picked up against Lion and Leshrac, so you've kind of covered your bases that you don't get like completely shut out by one item. As far as Spirit's lineup goes, a little bit slower to build up. Invoker might need some time. He's obviously more than likely going to be played Quas Wex here. He already has Wex skilled, but Quas Wex Invoker kind of I'm not sure how to explain this, but if you think about his power curves, like really strong at level, let's say 7 to 12, then he falls off a little bit, and then he can come back later if he starts getting XR points and starts getting some bigger items, but very, very late, both Morphling and Invoker with Elder Titan Natural Order should be able to pull this off.
Yeah, your prediction is looking very, very true with Elder Titan being so hotly contested, yet not banned as often as you would think, considering his ridiculous win rate of, I think they were saying 65% so far in this tournament.
61.5, yep, you're right.
Close enough. We round down
not
in
a
America.
bad guess, actually. You weren't listening earlier, as usual, so that was...
That's your style, please now, Sinner. This is the TI main stage. You got to take it very seriously. Okay, so top lane we have Fly and Kaka going to be dual laning. So it's going to be the position 1 Monkey King Center, which, you know, obviously we talked about how flexible this hero is. But having said that, it's been mostly position 4 in the group stage. So your thoughts going into this game with position 1 this time around?
I think the lane matchup here is pretty good. The one thing I'm a bit concerned for sometimes with carry Monkey King is that some lane matchups are just rough. Like you have a hero that's 100% based around getting multiple attacks in on the same target to really shine in lane. That's why some matchups that have attack speed slowing abilities like Jakiro or Venomancer with all the move speed slows, or these kind of heroes can make Monkey King's life absolutely miserable in lane. This one, however, Mars is not the biggest problem for him, nor is ET. So I do think from a laning perspective, Fly should be coming up to a good start here.
And mid lane, you already kind of mentioned Toronto Tokyo playing the Invoker versus Emo's Leshrac. Thoughts on the matchup from a hero-to-hero perspective?
I think it's pretty even. Invoker will usually try to win lanes against other int heroes by burning their mana with Tornado EP, but Leshrac should still be somewhat able to last it even if he's low on the mana. Quas Wex Invoker's base damage isn't the greatest. And of course, I would say the whole dynamic around Quas Wex mid-Invoker has changed with the addition of Water Runes. I just think it's easier to get that little bit of mana back that you would usually lose in the past, and then if you didn't find a Power Rune, you would be very stifled in lane. But nowadays, most heroes against Quas Wex Invoker will find decent farm here, and this is no exception. Emo currently top net worth. He's 15-5 against Toronto Tokyo's.
Going to see a spear top. Mr. Cinderman Flyfly's going to try to turn around to collapse, but it looks like everybody's going to part ways right now. I'm sure a salve is coming for Flyfly. There we go. As a balance strike still ready to go overall. But yeah, you're right. Emo 15-5, 13-3 for Toronto Tokyo. So actually relatively even considering it's the Quas Wex, which kind of surprising actually.
I mean, if you look at the heroes damage,
he's about to get a whole wave here, so maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe not that close.
Emo's getting slightly more. I would say this is one of the better matchups for Invoker in lane, just because what you don't want to face is these heroes that either dominate you by playing aggressively or have way better last hit damage than you. Both of these heroes don't have the best base damages, but Invoker is actually slightly ahead of Leshrac in the beginning, so should be able to find a decent amount here. And Leshrac usually just responds by, spell of farming. Lightning Storm very good against these ranged heroes to secure range creeps and start building up toward that early bottle that Emo has already got. Bottle Magic Wand, rocking that in the mid lane. And bottom lane, I think this largely, for me, is actually the most interesting lane to watch in this game, just because Morphling is a very snowbally hero by nature in lane. If you get crushed in the early few levels, you can be slowed down a lot, but at the same time, against a lot of melee heroes, Morphling does very well, starts getting up those key levels and can just start trading with that early Morbid Mask, we see here from Yatoro, playing against Io and Slaughter. So overall pretty even, but there's relatively high kill potential down here for IG onto the Bane, playing against heroes with high move speed, which you definitely get out of Sprint plus Tether. You can't really necessarily reset and get away even with a Nightmare cast.
Yeah, we have yet to get a first blood, which actually for this meta, very uncommon. Typically you'll see something even during the bounty rune stage, the 0 minute mark, but both teams playing a little passive here. As I say that, Yataro going to get bashed by JT, but looks like he's going to be perfectly fine with, like you said, that Morbid Mask. Probably not a better hero to get it. Probably the only hero to get this early on is actually first blood. Kaka is going to be taking out Mira in that top lane. So first blood goes the way of IG.
This is such a great hero for Monkey King to lane with both Earth Spike and Hex leveled here for Kaka with 2-1-0 build. There's so much time for for Flyfly to get in those Jingu mastery attacks and then finish off the kill. So Nice for IG to find the first blow up there. I want to say this bottom lane, the IO starter, I think this is a lane that has had its ups and downs. There was a phase for, I want to say, 2 or 3 weeks in Europe especially, where this lane was played all the time. Definitely Insania on the draft panel, no stranger to this lane, as I believe it was Taiga and Boxy that were playing this quite a bit together as well for Team Liquid. They just come to mind just because that's the type of lane that that team like to play. It's very synergistic. There's a lot of like tandem plays you make. The heroes just complement each other very well. IO gives attack speed to Slardar, so you get the attacks in for Bash of the Deep. We might see Miposhka actually in trouble here. Yeah, probably going to wake him up here is... I think. Probably just protection. You know, it's a decent hero against a lot of the IO tether combinations. All right, we're just going to reset out here. Mira needs to be a little bit careful here, perhaps. There's the Hex mana coming in, and he is toast.
Indeed. Pulse Nova is there for Emo, and a second kill of the game now for IG.
But yeah, to finish off on the Bane thing, Team Spirit's like team ideology or the way they play, Miposhka playing this hero is a very good way of ensuring Yatoro a good start in lane. So I think it's mainly for protection, and the Fiend's Grip against a lot of Bane's or IO's targets, tether targets can be nice.
I see JT and Ollie beating the absolute crap down here against Yatoro and Miposhka. Yatoro, of course, extremely tanky. Miposhka has the Nightmare available, and as you can see, they're just going to trade and sleeps here. But still, damage is done. Yatoro has to back off now and try to regain some HP.
They do have a salve. It's going to be healed up to full here, but...
And a Falcon Blade now as well.
Small camp is going to spawn here. Yeah, Morphling, one of the better heroes against this lane, because if IO Starter don't kill you off fully here, you can just regen up easily. But now, Kaka will make his way over as well. They're really looking to shut down Yatoro. Has found some pretty good starting farm, though.
Fly able to jump his way out of the Tornado's path, but... yeah, still no kills for Team Spirit as of yet. But they're going to group up here a little bit towards the top lane. Have the Siege creep available for pushing potential. We'll see if IG tries to mitigate this in any way. Fly, all he can do is watch from above for now.
Yeah, Collapse is only level 5, so there's no Arena of Blood here for this potential team fight that could break out here, but it looks like it's just going to be a tower trade. IG rotating down, Emo to bottom, and obviously Leshrac with the classic 2-2-2-1 build, which we see almost every game currently, is going to be maxing out Edict most likely after this. But still makes very quick work of this tower when Edict comes up the second time, as Glyph was used on the first one. And maybe Spirit won't actually get this tower. They still have the Siege Creep alive. They'll get it in time.
Yeah, that thing has been alive for eons at this point. Fly. Oh, he's going to get speared in. Not sure if they're going to get the vision here. EMP's there with the Cold Snap to follow. Fly gets off the Boundless Strike. Collapse just trying to follow behind him. The Tornado's going to be there, and he actually just blocks him in completely. Nicely done from Team Spirit. The Spear actually finishes him off there, but will be a 1-for-1 in terms of the towers, but obviously position 1 death, pretty big deal for IG.
It's going to be returning to base here. Collapse ran completely out of resources. It's going to be heading out. Yatoro is now just going to be sitting close to this tier 2 tower bot and farming. You would imagine that IG could be looking to make a potential smoke move down there with Lion plus Lesh. Have plenty of magic damage first against Yatoro if he's playing on that low strength, which is very common for Morphlings for the farming speed. And you see they snuck down a ward here earlier that just barely doesn't see Yatoro, but if he's trying to go right and look at that camp that JT just farmed, that could open up a move for them to cross down there. For now, Kaka will just be taking his level 6 in mid. Get Finger of Death, awesome ability against Morph. Once again, likes playing on low health, so you can find the kills very, very quickly.
Yep, if he can be sneaky enough. His Emo and Ollie already got done taking out a couple stacks of creeps in their triangle. Fly continuing to...
mid lane.
All right, got the Hex to start things out. Earth Spike to follow. Emo with the Split Earth. This should be a kill. There's TP supports coming, though. Finger of Death, like you said, just takes him out in turn. But Yatoro has made his rotation. This would be a really big kill, but that's the pig pull. Emo turns into a pig and lives. That is a very small percentage place in there, as we have discussed many a time, but it worked.
It's a good point. The pig pull made no difference there. So happy you pointed that out. That You have
Really
your
glad to
favorite
be here with
items. You have like a quota you need to meet every game. When there's a pick poll, you have to say, I don't know if you have some sort of a contractual obligation.
With who?
I don't know, some sort of company that makes bacon.
Well, I do like bacon. The EMP cold snap Kaka dead on his own cliff here. 3-2 advantage now for Team IG. And Emo looking at terms of, in terms of the net worth here, top of the charts. And his counterpart in Toronto, Tokyo, about 600 off, which if you were to ask me at the beginning of the game, I would say that's probably normal for the Quaswex versus Lesh anyway.
Yeah. Lesh just farms faster in the jungle, right? Like, even if you equalize in lane, Leshrac can always go to the jungle and farm with Pulse Nova, and he's playing with Io, which just makes things a lot better. You get that extra mana regen, you get the extra move speed to go from camp to camp. Now they're even going to bottle refill, Kaka TPing in for that. They're trying to make sure that Emo stays happy in this game. Has a tendency to pop off when he's given a good game like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Very uncharacteristic for his name, but
I mean, we've seen him pop off, but we've also seen him get a little too overconfident at times as well. So, but overall, compared to other mids, he's definitely one of the best in the world right now. As there's a Diabolic Edict,
a little bit.
Actually, surprising to see that very little damage has been done to this tier 1 mid as a Lesh from Emo, but of course he's spending a lot of time in the jungle right now just getting that farm.
Yeah, and Team Spirit, they know how important this mid tower is, so they're going to be parking someone here. Elder Titan, one of the best heroes at doing this, actually. Just sitting in a lane, protecting the tower. You have so much range with Astral Spirit, and you just get the stomp off, and you stay very far back for safety. IG can't really catch this ET if he stands in a good position, unless they wrap around with some sort of smoke gank and use Monkey King from the trees or something like that. But Fly uninterested. He's sitting top right now, farming up his Echo Saber. An item that's become very, very popular on many melee carries lately, but Monkey King has always been one of the stables. When this item wasn't even very good,
yeah,
he would buy it.
He's not a hipster. He started the trend, if anything, right?
Yeah.
Monkey King has got it all under control.
And it just makes so much sense, right? It's a hero that is all about those right clicks for getting up the Jingu stacks and getting the powerful boundless strike in. And Echo Saber, one of the fastest ways of getting 4 attacks you could possibly get. Later on, they're also going to be tethering him for overcharge.
Yep.
So 3 good friends for Io this game. I love to see that in Io drafts. I think it's very cool when Io doesn't just have one partner like Tiny, but where there's other heroes you can tether to, because it opens up different plays on the map that you can make with different players, while others might have other objectives in the game, whether it's pushing a tower or farming jungle. And if your primary target dies, you're not like lost in the fight. Like, let's say you're tethered to Monkey and Monkey dies, suddenly you can tether the Lesh, and that's also amazing, or the Slardar.
Oh, we're going to see a smoke here from Team Spirit. So Spirit Vessel, I believe, is complete on Toronto Tokyo, which is obviously really good against Io. Collapse not quite done with his Blink Dagger. We'll get to that in just a moment. As Kaka might be the one to tank the gank here, and something tells me he's not getting out of this one, Cinderin.
Almost.
And the crowd goes wild. But Collapse, like I talked about, I want to say that this guy during the, I believe it was the Animajor, I would consider him the MVP of Team Spirit. He was, especially on Mars, an absolute god. Now Mars as a hero has kind of dropped off a bit in terms of the pick rate, but we're going to see him get the Blink Dagger as it's being delivered now, so expect some plays to come.
Yeah, I think just anecdotally, without knowing the exact stats for the tournament, for me it feels like the primary teams that have been playing Mars have been Team Spirit and Vici Gaming. And a little bit of IG as well, I do believe, on JT. So it's primarily been the Chinese teams as well as the Radiant team in this game. Makes a lot of sense that the hero was rated relatively highly in the draft for that reason, because it is a contested hero for the other team as well. IG looking to try to get their first 2 tower of the game while Spirit are mid. Was that a cancel TP? I think it was. Oh, Mira.
Wukong's command, and that is going to be an easy kill onto Mira in the bot lane as the tier 1 falls mid. Stuck inside his Wukong command for now, Toronto Tokyo. Gonna get gone on to start with from JT, but gets left initially. There's the Collapse ult, comes in with 3 inside. Yataro and company trying to clean up. Ollie's gonna be the first to fall here, along with Emo. JT showing off that Blink Dagger, so he will be safe, but 2 big kills for Spirit.
He got slowed by
He's not safe, Cinderin. Why did you say that,
Stop
JT?
lying to the audience.
He's fine, I said.
Oh, you're so good at this game. You knew.
Oh, man. So good. And the crowd continues to go wild. So shout out to everybody that is cheering in game. We're still waiting on Twitch to approve the extension update that allows Twitch viewers to cheer on stream. You know, maybe if somebody's watching from Twitch, you could approve that at some point. It's not like this is the biggest event of all time or anything. So Emo and Ollie in the triangle. See if they're going to try for a smoke here, but Emo's death quite costly because he was top net worth, but now you can see that is not the case anymore.
Yeah, looking great for Yatoro now, finishing off the Asha, of course, building now into E-Blade. They have an enormous amount of magic damage between their heroes. Natural Order. Man, Tsunami really screwed me over earlier when he said Astral Order. He actually got me.
Deception, yeah.
So Natural Order, you've got the E-Blade together with Invoker's spells. Oh, JT will run away.
That's a lot of mana drain from that EMP. As Kaka and company are here. Finger of Death. Oh, the Nightmare save! Miro will still die, so not as exciting as it may sound, but 2 dead.
But it
for
looked
Team
cool.
Spirit. It did look cool.
And
That's a highlight.
That is more important than winning.
If you have a highlight of that, don't show the end portion, and it looks really epic.
Just cut it off immediately. Wow!
Absolutely, and look at this.
Well,
Emo
finger stack. It could make a difference.
stealing a bunch of creeps in the triangle center. This is a huge deal. All right, maybe not that big. It's still a double stack of Ancients available. Yataro, Wukong's command, fly, spots him out with JT coming in as well. And there's a relocate. Huge kill onto Yataro, who was and still is for now the top net worth in the game.
Yeah, ahead by a whopping 13 gold over Leshrac. We'll see if Emo can find literally any creep except a garbage kobold.
How dare you? I love the kobold. Best model of any neutral in the game. Look at him.
The best model of any neutral in the game is the Black Dragon Goofy.
I mean, it depends on your perspective.
There's no Black
Depends
Dragons
on what you're looking
available
for
right now, so we can't show that. But
too
I'm
bad.
sure they'll spawn later.
So in terms of pace, obviously, I mean, if you just look at the net worth right now, 2K lead for IG. I mean, coming into this game, a lot of people are expecting IG to take this series. Team Spirit still it feels like they're always the underdog, and even after like great performances where they upset, they're still continuing to be the underdog for whatever reason. But I'm assuming you're thinking IG will take this series in the end.
Yeah, I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a lot of people that have Team Spirit favored. Oh, Kaka's dead.
Makoshka is in the vicinity.
Yes.
Echo Stomp is there. Spear into the trees, and down he goes.
Pretty big rotation from Spirit to find a lonesome position 4 there in the bottom lane. Effectively just the rest of the map being farmed up very nicely here by IG. All of their cores active around both the top bottom jungle of their own side, as well as Leshrac pushing out that mid lane. So this could open up for a potential move for IG. You see them drawing an arrow into the enemy triangle, so it looks like that's the next plan from Kaka here. He wants to maybe smoke. Of course, has the one key item that Lion wants in every game with that Blink Dagger, so can very easily initiate for the team as long as they have vision.
Yeah, BKB just picked up by Fly.
I think they saw him here. They see him.
And
he has the ward though on the high ground.
Links to safety. Looks like he's fine.
Yep. Gets
so
out
BKB
nicely.
on Fly as he actually has the Oblivion staff, so actually hasn't finished anything with that yet. Changed his mind considering how the game is going at the moment.
No, he disassembled it to make BKB something.
That's right. That's exactly what happened.
That is what happens when you look away for a moment.
That's right.
The game gets patched 7 times, and you can do that.
Yeah, very, very true. Another important item, Cinderin Toronto Tokyo picks up the Midas, which this is pretty much the standard build from Invokers these days, as Roche is going to be attempted.
Yeah, I like this.
Absolutely. This is against a Slardar lineup, so if you can take it away from them, then all the power to you.
Double damage morph with Alacrity. Oh, what's not to love?
Well, they're going to get the first Roche of the game, the first Roche of TI-10 main stage, in fact.
Yep.
As bottom lane, IG doing considerable amount of damage to this tier 2, and I would like to think that Spirit just lets this go.
IG take the first tier 2 tower of this TI-10 main event.
Are we just going to say that for everything?
IG are taking the first outpost of this TI-10 main event.
Okay.
There is little hope for Dire's middle tower.
I thought you were going to keep going. Sorry. I just...
Why would it? They
let it
open
open up.
Anything else.
Okay.
Is under attack.
Yataro damaging the top tier 2 for the first time in this TI main event. 1 for Kaka. And we'll see if Spirit want to continue to fight here, despite not having that big crush by JT onto 2. But there's the E-Blade being shown from Itaro. Flyfly jumping on top of Toronto Tokyo, but there, Itaro doing some nice damage to Flyfly. He pops his BKB. It looks like Toronto Tokyo is donezo. Flyfly in the meantime looking to re-pursue here. Looks like the Elder Titan is next on the list. So a 3 for 1 after a really good initiation from JT. E-Blade still not enough to get a kill here for Yataro. Definitely has to be careful, but...
You see the awesome synergy there between Slaughter and Monkey King. This is a nasty late game composition as well. We're not truly in the late game just yet, as I would rather call this the later portion of the mid game, but already you get Corrosive Haze on the target. No grip, and that gives JT the confidence to go in. And pay attention to Toronto Tokyo here. So nice back up there from JT, and then they jump in the Monkey King. Nice attempt from Yatoro turning into Monkey for the stun, but watch this Boundless. So insanely much damage. Basically killed off Invoker from 2/3 in 1 second. And they're going to need to find solutions for that. So Toronto Tokyo is buying a BKB. You could imagine potentially a Lotus Orb would be somewhere in the future for the Radiant. But all of them just getting BKBs really, except Morph getting the Manta style. So yeah. Mars also queuing up BKB. Potentially could have been a Halberd game, but they value that magic immunity very, very high against especially Lion and Leshrac.
Oh, DD Rune, not going to be denied. Emo picks it up, pops that BKB. Toronto Tokyo might be the sacrifice for Team Spirit. He's just going to get taken down thanks to that Pulse Nova. Finger of Death used now, Collapse. He's going to take the brunt of the damage. That's going to be 2 quick kills for IG. Make it 3 now, as this is starting to get in control of IG overall in this game, despite not having the Aegis. I mean, that's the fact that Team Spirit has not been able to use its Aegis to really any effect is really unfortunate for them.
It is worrisome for Spirit how hard a time they have counter-initiating. It's also worrisome that...
Continuing the onslaught here. Nice Sword Staff Mira. He's just going to get chased, though. They have so much health regen thanks to Ollie. That is going to be another easy kill for IG. Might be a turnaround here. Yataro forcing the BKB out of JT at the very least. We'll see if they can regroup here, but it feels like just dominoes falling 1 by 1 in the last minute or so.
For sure. Yeah, with the BKB on Slaughter and Monkey King, what happens in these fights effectively is IG, when they have superior vision, they just jump and go. And the Radiant, what response do you have to BKBs? You literally have Fiend's Grip on your position 5 Bane. If he gets stopped by anything, you have anywhere between 6 and 9 seconds just ready to roll for these cores. And it's because of the amount of burst damage that they have, Team Spirit are almost guaranteed to lose a key hero in that in those initial few seconds. Leshrac also with the BKB, of course, should mention that one, so... Yeah, it is problematic for Spirit. I think the saving grace for them later can be Invoker becomes amazing when BKBs get low. So when all of them drop to 6, maybe you can stay alive just long enough to get all of that control out. Tornado and Ice Wall. Ice Wall awesome against both Monkey King and Slaughter.
Yeah, and this, I mean, next Roche is not spawning anytime soon, but this is, the second Roche is going to decide the game, I feel like. If IG is able to secure it, it's going to be super hard for Spirit to actually come back into this game.
Sure.
And
good
they obviously take it really fast.
Not going into the triangle. They know this is coming from IG. And in the meantime, Toronto Tokyo. This is something we saw him do a lot at the Animator.
Yeah.
Playing these side lanes alone on the opposite side of the map. Even on heroes that aren't necessarily very good at it, he would still find a way to do it. In this game, Bosswix Invoker good at this.
Collapse.
No. Getting collapsed
pursuing.
On.
All right,
good.
Blink TP. Looks like he's fine.
All right.
Yeah, Sprint was offline for a moment there for JT, so couldn't close the gap, as it were. And Toronto Tokyo forcing out TPs, like you said. So, I mean, realizing that they're behind, it's not an insurmountable lead for or against IG, but still split pushing, forcing the TPs out, expending some resources, getting them on the other side of the map. You can see the heat map for Toronto Tokyo.
Wow.
Obviously, the red portion is mostly the laning stage, I would assume, but starting to spread the wealth to some degree. Yeah, we have 3 BKBs right now on IG, and only 1 so far for Spirit. As Toronto Tokyo still working on his. Is it on the way? Let's see. He still needs like 700 gold to actually finish it, so dropping off the farm despite having that Midas.
Poshka's thinking about this. It is a really hard angle. Oh, they're going to get backstabbed as well. Kaka finds Yatoro.
He gets off the Morpho. Nice dodge with that BKB from JT. They're just going to apply all their pressure to Yatoro. Still stuck inside this Wukong's command, but he's going to be good to go. And now Team Spirit likely on the retreat. Get up a nice tornado to slow things up with a finger of death. They're going to find at least one. Does IG.
You should be happy if you're Spirit that was the worst. That could have gone so much worse. Yatoro got off a clutch E-Blade right before the 4th hit from Slaughter for that bash. And they do manage to get out basically everyone here, except Mira, catching his 7th death. Has as many deaths as his team has kills.
That's usually not a good sign.
Absolutely not, and especially he's ET, right? But they're doing a really good job on IG of just finding him in these fights. ET can often stand very, very far behind the fights, but Monkey King and Slaughter just have his number, and they have the number of Poshka as well.
Poshka is going to try to get saved by Toronto Tokyo, but it's not going to have a Kaka. Jumps in with the Hex into the double impale. Fly gets off his beautiful right clicks. Double kill for Fly. And Team Spirit are starting to crumble, Cinder, and Collapse is going to take it out in turn. Tier 1 tower to follow. 6K network lead, and it's only growing from here.
Yep.
And Roche
now
will
it's
be
7K.
Relatively shortly. Would you like to count the numbers with me?
Did you grow up on Sesame Street?
Not really.
You don't
Big
know the
Bird really scared me.
You don't know the counting song, I'm assuming.
I don't know how to count.
I don't actually think it goes to 7. They start out with the easy course first.
That's not helpful.
No, I know.
No wonder America's screwed. Elmo. Emo here has the Diabolic Edict going. It's going to force out the fortification. And it looks like this is going to be another tower going the way of Team Spirit, or Team IG, I should say. And I think at this point, they're probably just waiting for Roche. Yes, just keep it up, Cinder. You're doing great.
Yep, they're getting a bounty run. Is this 9K?
It's going to be... Sure, we're going to see the replay here.
It's 9K.
Yeah, good attempt from Toronto Tokyo to save his comrade there, but you can see the Kaka initiation with the nice stun from Kaka onto 2 there as well.
Speaking of 9K, a little bit of trivia. Do you know who was the first player in the world to get 9K MMR?
Miracle?
Yes. Do you know who played against him in the game he got 9K?
Cinderin.
Yes, correct.
All right, that was pretty easy, actually.
I know.
Thank you.
That's my main contribution to Pub Dota. Boosting the confidence of others. It's very good.
Appreciate that. Yatoro. Emo and Ollie hooked up right now and transporting themselves to another dimension, it seems. So 8K net worth lead for IG. They're just waiting for this second Roche, and if they're able to get it, you can see Toronto Tokyo trying to scout it out, but just spawned right afterwards. Oh man, that is actually really unlucky, but then again, it was pretty late into the timer for Roche regardless. So they just need JT in the vicinity, and they can take that super duper fast. This is going to be the Aegis and Shard this time around, Cinderin.
Now it's time for your favorite question.
Yes.
Cinderin, who should they give the Shard to?
It's going to be Emo. We can be pretty sure of this. Fly's is pretty decent, but I don't really see it that often picked up.
Damn.
There we go.
There it is. The first Shard of the TI main stage goes to Emo.
And that is
great call, Suns fan.
The split earth that just creates bigger split earths in a delay. Very nice. Usually really good for high ground defense, but something tells me IG's not going to need it specifically for that. If the game continues to go in this trajectory.
It's really nice zone control, and you look at their lineup, they have so many stuns that they can likely get off the double value on a single target, right? If you get, let's say, Lion Hex into Split Earth, then you can Earth Spike, and then you can Slaughter stun, and then the second Split Earth proc will come in again. You even have Boundless as well, so very, very nice. Honestly, I wouldn't have blamed them if they put the Shard onto Io. This is a really good game for that, considering what friends he has here. But they are opting to put it on the core first. Emo.
That must make you really sad as a support player to see that.
I like to see the success of others.
Oh, Echo Stomp.
Oh, good Yule.
Not going to hit because of the tornado here. Collapse gets a nice spear into the tower. Actually blows up Emo. And now the beautiful Mars Arena onto 2. Buyback is still available if he wants to use it, but Toronto Tokyo takes a lot of damage, able to force that to safety thanks to this Earth Square coming out. Ollie, that's a triple kill for Yatoro. Luckily for IG, 1 gets out. And Kaka, all right, Glimmer. I think they spotted him though. They're going to try to chase Kaka
four
here.
different colored pings around his body.
E-Blade not able to finish him off in style with the stun trap. All right.
No way.
Oh my God, Kaka! Are you serious? He gets out after all that.
Damn.
Either way, great defense from Team Spirit. Obviously, Aegis was not on Emo.
Yeah,
questionable.
Exactly. It's a bit questionable to maybe have him push that tower without the Aegis. You could have let Monkey King do this with the Desolator and the IO behind for protection, but they were just not expecting this play. Super well set up there. Collapse going for that high-value spear, and the follow-up arena is just as good. And that was about a 3k gold swing. They still don't claim the Aegis, though. Back to live. Kaka is asleep. Now he's awake. And that was really exciting.
Thank you.
And now it's over.
Can we get a highlight of that? First terrible highlight of the game, as Scotty is now picked up for Fly, so he is hitting critical mass here pretty soon, and he is mega farmed overall. But I mean, on the other side, Yataro still top of the net worth. He has actually got the Titan Sliver drop as well from the jungle. So
very good for Morph.
One of the best heroes in the game for that, no doubt. So he has the Manta BKB and E-Blade going for, I would assume, Scotty next. Yeah, it looks like it is. But 6k net worth lead for IG overall right now, still with the Aegis in tow.
This is a big movement. They have the smoke coming out. Relocate is available from bottom.
Tokyo gets initiated on by JT. They are going to destroy him. Does have buyback, though.
Okay.
But a nice pick off for IG. And still with about a minute and a half to go on the Aegis, so obviously want to use it in some capacity here.
It's important for Spirit to not get cornered here. They do have a good ward seeing this movement in from Fly, but he can be as he can be as confident as he wants. There's no way they kill him twice.
Yeah, they see him, and there's the crush to cancel the TP. Echo Stomps can be canceled as well, so a second freebie.
Kaka trying to get the courier.
For IG.
And he won't. Uses that shield. Someone at Valve was really thinking hard about what to call this invincibility ability of the courier, and after a lot of deliberation, they ended up with shield. I think very good.
I think it's a solid choice.
Very good choice. It's up there together with bash and amplify damage as very good descriptive names for abilities.
I miss those, actually.
I like amplify damage, honestly.
I agree. I think now it's corrosive haze.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Viper skill, honestly.
It really does, actually.
And calling it out, he corrosive hazes them does not sound super hype, I'm not going to lie. But then again, amplified damage had that same issue, so whatever.
It was nicely descriptive, though. You kind of knew what you were going to get.
Very true. Fly and company. Kaka gets off the Hex. Maposhka is in the vicinity, has the Nightmare of It. Yataro taking a ton of damage. Has E-Blade himself here. Tornado gets Yuled, and it looks like he's just going to drop inside the Wukong's command. Has buyback. Maposhka gets jumped. Double kill for Fly. And with this, IG will try to force out these two buybacks that Spirits still have. That's one. Yeah. That's not the important one. Keep in mind, Aegis is running out soon.
A little bit of a life pro skill here, showcased by Fly. If you're ever in trouble in real life, make sure you turn into a banana. Then nothing can happen to you.
That's a great life advice.
Yes, you're welcome. Probably a 5-minute crafts video about that somewhere, I'm sure.
I'm sure. And everything's on the internet, or so I'm told.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the Earth Killer coming out, and Collapse with the initiation. Buyback from Yataro as well. Can they take out Fly? Absolutely. And inside the Mars Arena are 3, but the BKB allows Emo to run out safely and TP to base. Kaka again gets out. So only finding one, but still an important kill.
It's a couple of really good defensive play calls here from Collapse. Again, finding that setup on the Monkey King as the Aegis expired. But the problem is you had to buy back your Morph, or did you, right? Like maybe that could have even worked without the Morph buyback, but it's like an impossible judgment call to make in the moment, so you will generally see the core buy back there.
Yeah.
But it makes that win a lot more bittersweet, because you have an opening now for IG to win the game flat out by just killing the Morphling one more time now. And you're not going to be able to get anything meaningful in this minute that the Monkey King is still dead. There's no Roche. All of your waves were pushed pretty far, so you need to just spend this time putting out fires across the map so that you can start maybe finding a move when all the enemy team is alive again.
There is a DD top, and there is a Morphling in the game.
Yeah.
Quite possibly the best hero to have a double damage on, or one of them at the very least. Has a Scotty, now does Yataro, so obviously not saving for buyback at this point since he does not possess one.
Yep. That's why buy all out. He gets the
Unfortunately
bottle.
for Team Spirit, they're not able to force any buybacks from Fly. That would have been pretty big, but pretty risky as well.
This is, I'm not going to call it a Hail Mary move, but it's likely to decide the game here from Team Spirit. If this move fails and Morph dies, things are looking very grim. They will... I like it from them, though. You've got to take this kind of initiative if you want to make a comeback and win this game eventually. You can't just sit back and play chicken for 8 minutes. So they will see if they can find an invasive move into the enemy triangle.
But Poshka is the frontliner here. Smoke is popped.
Oh, Emo's just straight in.
Emo jumps in. He's getting decimated, but there's a save from Ollie for now. But no, there's too much damage to withstand. He does not have buyback. JP is next on the list. Double kill for Yotaro. As it looks like Flashlight with the BKB will get out of dodge, but a triple kill now for the Morphling. And nice arena from Collapse. They find Fly. This would be an enormous kill. He turns to the Monkey King for just a moment. Ultra kill Yotaro. What a turnaround from Team Spirit. Make it a rampage. Yotaro, beast mode enabled at TI-10.
Okay.
And that is 2 buybacks, and they're going for buildings
want to
here.
win now.
Holy Gavin. They're going throw. That's Alacrity onto Yotaro. They force the fortification. Remember, 2 of these core heroes do not have buyback for IG right now. They use the last one remaining. That is a tier 4 tower. See if they can actually defend. Kaka actually just fingers Collapse to death, but he buys back into the game. We'll be back shortly. Alacrity again onto the Morphling. Going for the tier 4 tower. This will be an enormous turnaround for Team Spirit. Boundless Strike from afar. They're just waiting as long as possible for their Leshrac to come back. 15 seconds for him. That's so far away. Fly just getting kited from afar. Yotaro continuing to hit the Ancient. They might be backing up though. Nope, he pops the BKB. Going back in with the Alacrity. Going for the Ancient. Will they be able to get this? Yotaro trying to get bursted down. They're going to get it. Unbelievable turnaround. Holy Gavin. I literally cannot believe that they just won that game. Oh my goodness. Cinderin.
I mean, it's
what the hell just happened?
It's one thing that they pull off that confident move into the enemy triangle, but the fact that they get that result out of it was